What? Chapter 33, The Prince's Tale. So, Harry, sitting there looking at Snape's body, and Hermione and Ron come in the room, um, and they're just kind of discussing what they can do next. And then Voldemort's voice echoes throughout the whole, surrounding area. He's basically like, you all fought valiantly and all that kind of stuff. Basically, he's saying you've all fought well, and you have 1 hour. 1 hour to pick up your dead, pick up your injured, basically just recuperate. And in 1 hour's time, I better have Harry Potter in front of me in the Forbidden Forest. And if not, I'm going to send my people back in, and I am joining the battle myself. And I'm going to end this. That's basically what he said. I'm going to end this. He's like, all you guys, are dying for Harry, and all you need to do is just give him to me, and it'll all be over. And obviously, Harry, he was almost tempted to, get out there and go straight to the forest. Ron and Hermione were like, no, don't do that. Just, he's baiting you, don't do it. And obviously, they know. So they go back to the Great Hall. It's very quiet in all of Hogwarts. All the injured and dead are there. Harry goes to the Great Hall and sees Fred and the Weasleys are all crowded around him. Ron goes to, you know, console Ginny, and they're all, very, very sad about Fred, and that's very sad. And then Harry also looks around the room and sees the other people. He sees Lupin and Tonks. R.I.P. That's really sad. He sees Lupin and Tonks, and then after that, he can't see anymore. He leaves the room. He runs off, and he feels like it's his fault because all these people have died for him. So he runs off and doesn't even really think about where he's going. And the person that he wants to talk to the most, Dumbledore, he goes to Dumbledore's office and asks for the password. He says Dumbledore, and it lets him in. And he goes to the desk, sees how empty the room is. All the portraits are empty, and he goes straight to the pensive in the back, and it's swirling there with memories of Snape. So he doesn't even think twice about it. He jumps right in there, and it starts with a memory of a little boy who obviously you can tell is Snape in some raggedy clothes, and he's watching two girls. Those two girls are revealed to be Lily and Petunia, so Harry's mom and his aunt. And they're playing, and she does some magic, and Petunia's like, "Don't do that, don't do that," and you can get seen. And then she's like, "Oh, no one's gonna see me. I've been doing this for a little while." So she's been, talking about doing her magic, as kids do. So Harry guessed like Snape in this point is like maybe like 9 or 10. So Snape reveals himself to the kids and tells her like, "You're a witch," says you're a witch. And Petunia, obviously Petunia and Snape already kind of go back and forth because she's a Muggle, that's why she can't do this kind of stuff. And then the memory kind of changes, and it seems like Lily and Snape have gotten more acquainted. They're talking about Hogwarts, and he's telling her about magical things because, well, Lily's parents were Muggles, but Snape's parents, he's a half blood, so he knows a little bit about Hogwarts and that type of stuff. So they talk about, Lily's nervous about going to Hogwarts, and she's also excited as well to be able to do magic. And Snape tells her, like, when you turn of age, you can't keep doing magic because you're going to get in trouble. And then she asks about the mentors and that type of stuff. And you can tell Snape already kind of has a crush on her as well. So he's trying to, keep her calm. And then the memory goes forward a little bit more, and they're on the train, or they're about to get on the train, and Snape is there looking at Lily and her sister Petunia. Petunia is revealed that she actually wrote a letter to Hogwarts trying to get in because she was jealous, and so she wrote a letter, and then she was like, I don't want to go, all that stuff. And she calls Lily a freak and basically just starts bullying Lily, making Lily feel bad. And it just gets, bad. Parents are not even paying attention to the conversation. And so Lily goes and jumps on the train. And then the memory shifts to Lily, and she grabs Snape, and they go to a train car. And in this train car happens to be Harry's dad and Sirius, and they're talking about, the houses. And Snape's like, I hope you're in Slytherin, because that's where Snape wants to be. And then James pops in, is like, well, I want to be Gryffindor, because courageous and all that stuff. And then Sirius chimes in as well. They have a little back and forth, and then they leave because they're kind of bullying Snape, and that's where they first call him Snivelus as well. And then the memory goes forward a little more, and it's Snape and Lily. Seems like they become best friends. They're a little older, and Harry's just listening in the background, and they're talking about she doesn't like Snape's new friends. These obviously are Death Eaters. They haven't been called Death Eaters yet, but they're Death Eaters. And then Snape brings up James. And he's like, James is not so good himself. And Lily agrees. James is kind of like he's a bully. In his time, he's a Gryffindor. He's very popular. He's a big Quidditch person, and he's popular. And Lily knows that he's not like the greatest guy. He's very arrogant as well. So Snape takes pride in the fact that she doesn't like him, and he can see that she doesn't like his nature. So he's happy about that. Then the memory moves forward again, and there's a time when they have a heated discussion in front of the Gryffindor room, because Lily didn't want to come down to Slytherin. And she's basically belittling him for his friends. Now they're called Death Eaters. And she's saying, you can't be hanging around with those people. Actually, I guess the time before that, there was a memory before that, which was the same memory that Harry saw in the previous book, the one where James held him up in the air, and where Snape called her mudblood the first time. And then, so they're going back to this portrait scene in front of the portrait, and they're having a discussion about that. He's like, I'm sorry I called you a mudblood. It just came out. And he's like, and she is like, yeah, it just came out because the people you've been hanging around with, they're bad people. And basically said, you want to go to see the Dark Lord and all that stuff. And basically Snape's at this point, he likes the dark arts. He's in this crowd. She's not liking it. And he still wants to keep her close. And you can see the relationship is kind of thinning. Basically, that was probably I think that was our last conversation together. And then it switches off to another memory. Now Snape is very scared, and Harry can even feel his fear through the memory. And then there's a flash of light, and it's Dumbledore that's standing in front of Snape. And Snape immediately drops his wand and was like, don't kill me. So I think at this point, this is where he's kind of defected from the Death Eaters. And he called Dumbledore and was like, I need help. I think I've made a grave mistake. And this is the moment where he told Voldemort the prophecy. And he said, I've said the whole thing. And he said, Voldemort has taken it as that Lily is going to birth his mortal enemy. So Snape feels he's messed up now because Lily is the one that is in danger. And Dumbledore is like different in this scene. He's not like the usual calm-mannered person. He's like angry. He's not wanting to talk to Snape. He's like, you're a Death Eater, basically like, get out of my face. And then Snape is like, I'll do anything to keep Lily alive. And he's like, Dumbledore asked him, does that include letting James and Harry die? And Snape was, at this point, he was like, obviously he thought about it. He was like, I might let them die. But he's like, no, just keep them all alive and do what you can.